All right, so this is interesting economic news. It turned out that the Biden administration was completely cooking the books on jobs. You might recall during the Biden administration, especially during election season, they said that it was the greatest economy of all time. And one of the reasons it was is because there were so many jobs and the jobs numbers were great. Well, it turned out that was all a lie. Now, what's funny about this is that the Democrat propagandists on social media are claiming, they're pretending that this all happened under Trump. It's just amazing. The level of lying is incredible. And so there's a broader issue economically with, so they cooked the books, and so the Fed had the wrong information, had inaccurate information when it comes to whether or not to cut rates. So there could be some problems with that, which of course they're going to blame on Trump. On the other hand, I would say right now the economy is headed in the right direction. It's certainly better than it was under Biden. It's not where it needs to be. You can go over the various things like grocery prices. Some prices have gone down on some things, and on other things like beef, they've gone up. Okay. Gas has been kind of schizophrenic. And also, see, this is the problem also. A lot of this depends on your area. So, like, I personally, anecdotally, have had a lower grocery bill. But I also shop around. I shop at the cheapest place. And so if I went to, like, Acme, I would take it up the ass on grocery prices. But for whatever reason, in my area, right now, Amazon Fresh, the stuff that I buy has been cheaper than it usually is. Now, is that definitely from Trump? I really don't know, so I'm not going to say. I don't know. But when these lying propagandists say everyone's grocery bill is higher, well, I say, well, mine isn't, okay? Now, again, it depends where you are. It depends what you buy. It all depends, okay? So just because my bill is cheaper, it doesn't mean yours is cheaper. So I'm not going to declare that all grocery prices are down and where they need to be, because that's not true. Gas prices, okay. Gas prices are definitely lower than they were under Biden. They're not as low as I would like to see. So they're not as low as they need to be. And so it's been kind of schizophrenic. So, and I can only go by my area. In my area, under Biden, you're pushing like, what, $4 a gallon. It was completely ridiculous. So under Trump over the 6 months, it went down to as low as like 280 something, which is pretty good. I'll take that. But then it went back up to like 310, and then it went down to like, I don't know, 3. And then it went up when I got back from Florida. It was at like 319 again. And now it's like at like 297. And also, again, it depends where you go. If you drive out to the rich areas, it's like 340. It all depends. So, so I would say it's better, but it's not where it needs to be. And that's with a lot of stuff. Of course, the propagandists are pretending this is the worst economy ever. Meanwhile, they argued that Biden's economy, which was terrible, inflation was like 7 or 9% or something crazy like that, and they pretended that that was a great economy. So what they're doing now is they are trying to pretend that right now our economy is worse than it was under Biden, which is a blatant lie. And here was something fascinating. So apparently, the inflation numbers are about to come out. And inflation didn't go up. See, this is hilarious to watch the people surrounding inflation. Okay. So remember under Biden, 7 to 9% inflation was no problem. And you had the lunatics like David Pakman, who said that if you want lower inflation, that's actually a bad thing because that's deflation, as if it's either or, which is a ridiculous false choice. Now inflation is at about, like 2.6, 2.7. I think they were expecting it to go to 3.3. It did not. And so now they're arguing that that's a bad thing. So now, no matter what, you can't win. They also changed the standard, because you're never going to have zero inflation, right? And so David Pakman would argue under Biden that a little inflation is good. It should never be at zero because that's bad. Now he's arguing anything over zero is inflation skyrocketing, and Donald Trump is a failure. So it's just total insanity. So Good news on the inflation front. I don't understand this concept that I thought we don't want inflation to go up. We need it to be at like 2%. So it's at 2.6. So there's still a little ways to go down. So if you're arguing it's not exactly where we want it to be, no problem. But I would say, given where inflation is and what's going on with the jobs now, I think there's a good chance there's going to be a rate cut. So we'll see what happens. There's people predicting doom and gloom if there's a rate cut. I guess we'll see. We'll see if those people are right. I see people, and they have like YouTube channels, and every video is the same thing. Everything's going to zero. There's all this fire in the images, and it's like everything's going to zero, get out, and then it doesn't happen. So I mean, maybe one day they'll be right. Maybe like if we do hit a Great Depression, then those people will be right. But that seems to not be happening, and I hope that doesn't happen. I'm rooting for the economy to be good. But like overall, it's definitely better, but it's not where it needs to be. That would be how I would assess the economy so far. Decent job, but there's more that you could do, so hopefully they can do that. And we'll see what the rate cuts do, but the propaganda. What I'm really interested in is the propaganda around it, and it is just retarded. It is completely retarded. So the propagandists are going to do one of two things. They are either going to blatantly lie and say inflation is skyrocketing, which they've done before, which is just a lie, or they're going to argue that now this is deflation and now this is terrible, and and Trump is a failure, and it's going to be whatever what they continue to do. So, but yeah, no matter what happens, it's always bad, and Trump is always at fault, and it's kind of hilarious. All right, join us tonight for the Hard News Network live stream at 9:15 p.m. Eastern on Rumble. That's rumble.com/user/Hard News Network, and I'll see you there.